unfortunately, important documentation, enrollment of the children.
They stole the enrollment of the kids, so that maybe they can invalidate Nick Shirley's claims. They broke in and they drove through some random ass wall next to a water heater and an electrical outlet, and they stole the documentation that proves that you're not a fraud. They literally think we're recording. They do.
So, the employee documentation that was gone.
Look at the girl right there when she hears the story. That is the shoe-sized IQ
I
right
got enough
here.
for
Of like,
both.
they stole the evidence.
Man, he really wanted that Raven, didn't he? Pull it back.
Too far away from the Hellborn top. Charging the Hellborn mid lane. Demented Shaman spotted in the Hellborn top jungle. Demented Shaman spotted in the Legion top lane. The Legion bot jungle.
Okay, they pulled. Let's get ready to get him. I can hit him with both spells now. Careful.
Demented Shaman spotted in the Hellborn top jungle. From the Hellborn bot lane.
I couldn't get him that. He's missing still. Alright. Sneak it, sneaky.
I can't cast that. Charging. I can't cast it. The Hellborn bot lane. Is missing from the Legion.
You're this guy.
Missing from the Legion top jungle. The Legion top jungle. Missing from the Legion top left.
Get him. This Ross sucks. Fuck. Fuck, my bad here.
Corrupted disciple spotted in the top river. Demented shot killed. Witch slain. Demented shaman killed. Arrow.
Oh, let's get him. Okay, I'm right on as soon as I can.
Murder. Demented shaman. The Legion top lane.
I need to target something first.
Demented shaman spotted in the Hellborn top jungle.
I need a target.
No one spot. They're completely abandoning.
Demented shaman spotted in the Hellborn top jungle. Corrupted disciple killed. Defiler. Armory Blah spotted in the Legion bot jungle. Demented shaman spotted in the Hellborn top jungle. Your tower is taken.
Recharging.
It's a problem.
Isn't ready yet. That spell I can't. That spell isn't ready yet.
Disciple killed. Buried. Defiler killed. Corrupted disciple.
Still recharging.
Spotted. Definer active. Illusion.
I can't pass that. Need to get closer. Spell isn't too far away.
Destroy the premier tower. Demented shock.
Pass that.
Still.
Spell isn't ready yet. I don't have a target.
Quick system active. Double damage.
Just keep pushing after this too. Make them come to us. We'll get this guy.
Destroy the premier tower.
Ready yet. Pass that yet.
Fuck, sorry. Nothing.
Skills. Pharaoh.
Yo, we should Kong when Flint's back up. When we get Pharaoh to tank. This tower's deniable, it looks like. Oh fuck, just barely not.
Define skills. Disciple.
Pass that yet. Charging. Pass that yet.
Destroy.
Yo, let's Kong. Come on. Hey, Flint, we need you.
Charging. That spell isn't ready yet. I can't cast that yet. It's still recharging. Can't cast that yet.
Your tower is taking damage.
Finish her up, boy. Come on, boys and girls. Come on, boys and girls. That's funny. Laugh if you think it's funny. Laugh.
The fuck is he laughing about though?
Need to get closer.
You want illusion, Defiler? Illusion, top. Illusion. Defiler. Want the illusion?
Out of range.
Destroy the enemy tower.
Need to get closer.
Hill.
That's a bad fort. I shouldn't have done that. Len, you want ult stick when I get it?
Tower has been destroyed.
We're good. We got wards, let's get Moon Queen. Is that an illusion?
Endless.
Hill. Demented shark. Cycle. Hill. Quick surge. Your tower. Hill. Cycle. You've destroyed it. Hill. Fire.
Yeah, let's get together, team. Which lane do you want to do?
Damage.
Cast that yet.
You want to get this, Fluffy?
Too far away. Charger. Charging. Can't cast that.
push mid.
Past that yet. Still recharging.
Voodoo Jenkins. Hill.
I need a target.
Hill. Defining.
Run to my ult.
Hill. Demented Shaman.
Jesus. Just trying to look at what you're pinging at, dude. Not paying attention.
I'm out of
Okay, I got I did get Staff of the Master for you. As soon as I'm up, you got it. Flint. Just need to get an eye for him. I'll get a couple counter wards to start.
Hill.
It's still recharging. I need more mana. My mana is low.
You now have lipstick. You're welcome. Look at those guns flash, baby. Yo, Kong's up. We could get him and end it. I think that's a good strat.
Who dares disturb my meditation?
That spell isn't That ability isn't ready yet. Not enough mana.
They're coming, dude.
Witch Slayer. Hill. Myrmidon.
Oh, yeah.
Hill. Demented.
I feel life steal.
Recharging.
Just send it. Any lane. Let's go. Oh, fuck it. Mid. Kong's going mid. Let's go.
I can't do it.
Definer. Activation. Invisibility.
I can't cast that
Destroy
yet.
an enemy tower.
That spell isn't ready yet. I can't cast that yet.
Hill. Identify Hill. You've destroyed an enemy structure. Mooncook. Hills. Voodoo Jenkins. Destroyed an enemy structure.
Recharging. I can't cast that yet. I need more mana. That spell isn't ready. I need to get closer. Not enough mana.
Destroyed an enemy tower. Destroyed an enemy structure. You've destroyed an enemy structure. Destroyed an enemy structure. Killed. Demented shaman.
Still recharging.
Destroyed an enemy tower.
That spell isn't ready. Still recharging.
Witch Slayer.
Our ancestors be praised.
That spell isn't ready yet.
Can I please?
I don't have a target.
If you're a fan of Monster Hunter, well, 2025 has been an interesting year with a ton of big releases. However, now it's time to look forward to what's coming as there are new games and updates on the horizon that will keep you hungry for on. Well, let's start off with what's happening with Monster Hunter Wilds. Wilds has recently received its last major title update with the release of Title Update 4. On top of that, we also got the Demon as the with a major bang. Now, while those were the last major content updates for Wilds, there are still a few things going on in the pipeline to be excited about, with the biggest of them being the fact that we'll get an update in February for the weapon and pendant from the community weapon design contest, which is pretty exciting to be honest, because you see we're going to be getting the awesome Shatter Steel design weapon, as well as a number of different smaller content bits like some more quests, the introduction of the last Arc-Tempered Monster, which is Arcbell by the way, and a special collaboration with Monster Hunter Story 3. Alongside that, the devs have also set out a promise and commitment to improve the game's performance on PC and console. There's going to be additional performance updates happening monthly until February. This is really good news, as many people have been saying that they have felt the performance improvement from Title Update 4, but for many it was only a small bump. So I'm going to pose the question to you guys. What is performance like for you at the moment on Wilds? Did Title Update 4 improve things or not? Well, with Monster Hunter Wilds wrapping up, the next big question is, when do we actually get to hear about a Wilds expansion? So we're going to have to look back at Monster Hunter World, because Iceborne was announced roughly 11 months after the base game launch, and then released about 9 months later on September 6th of 2019. Well, Wilds launched, of course, in February of 2025, and the final major update landed in December, so we could line things up with a similar title and expectation. Because of that, it wouldn't be all too surprising if Capcom announced a Wilds expansion around January 2026, which would of course be 11 months since release, with the expansion being expected to land later on in the year. However, it must be said that Wilds is also following its own timeline compared to previous games, so we may be waiting longer for that reveal, or maybe Capcom have chosen to let it cook for a bit longer to avoid the same issues that Launch Wilds had. Now, hopefully the expansion for Wilds will be really cool, and we know it will 100% be a step up in difficulty, and we can't wait for it to be the opposite of Wilds, where people then start complaining that it's too hard. Now, it has always been a pipe dream, but maybe it's time for them to include a new weapon in the expansion. After all, it did kind of feel like they were soft teasing some
What
kind
do
of
you
forward weapon
require?
with that Akuma collaboration, which was pretty cool. There is another Monster Hunter project worth keeping an eye on though, and that's Monster Hunter Outlanders. Whether you love it or hate it, it is going to be taking the series in a different direction compared to the mainline games, and so it's going to be pretty interesting to follow. If you need a little recap of what Outlanders is, well, it's a mobile-focused, open-world survival experience being developed by Team Studio Group. The devs say it was designed to be played in shorter sessions, while still keeping the core Monster Hunter loop intact, which from the gameplay, it actually does look pretty cool. The crazy thing is that unlike Wilds or World, this one leans much more into persistence and progression over time. One of the more interesting twists is how hunters work in it though. We know that you either choose from pre-made characters, with each of them having specific weapons tied to them, or having unique abilities. Or on the other side, you can create your own hunter who has access to a wider selection of weapons. That being said, the overall weapon roster is more streamlined than the usual 14 that we see in main title games, as not all the weapons have been announced in Outlanders yet. The game also introduces Radiant monsters, which are enhanced versions of familiar hunts designed to add extra challenge and variety. Early hands-on impressions have been positive, especially when it comes to the combat feel and how the monsters behave. But as a free-to-play title, we are waiting to see how monetization is handled before fully buying in. Then, of course, there's Monster Hunter Stories 3, which for us is one of the most exciting releases on the horizon for the franchise, as we are massive Stories 2 fans, and we love the turn-based combat. This new edition of the series is looking even better though, as it's getting a deeper focus on narrative, bigger stakes for the world itself, and systems that are bringing back some of the monster customization depth that fans loved from the original. It was also revealed that changes to game mechanics like endangered species, invasive monsters, and so on will actually have us handling the ecosystems of areas themselves, which is pretty cool because it is always hinted at in Monster Hunter lore, but now we're actually going to be doing it in game with benefits like getting rare malt seeds. Not only that, the world looks bigger as well, and the art style looks amazing. Even the soundtrack has us excited. We watched a bit of the gameplay, and the soundtrack is so amazing, we just can't wait to dive in and actually play. Hopefully the game has a monster just as epic as one of our favourite monsters of all time, Ultura from Stories 2, but we'll have to wait and see. But Stories 3, Outlanders, and a likely expansion announcement somewhere down the line is pretty exciting stuff. 2026 is shaping up to be another stacked year for Monster Hunter fans, even if Wilds itself is starting to wind down right now. But which figure are you most excited for out of all of these? Because I know what I'm most excited for, but I'm curious to see what you guys really like. Well, drop a like down below if you enjoyed this recap of all the things to come in Monster Hunter, and subscribe for more videos on your favourite games coming very, very soon. Here at Arix Gaming, we're two friends who love to play games. You have me, Paradise, as well as 2Sick.
My goal is to keep the videos of subscribers and content by keeping our ends of the plot and focusing on what really matters with my one video.
So make sure you're subscribed down below for more videos on your favourite games coming very, very soon.
My husband used to ejaculate prematurely until this. Recently he's ejaculating so fast, and when we get so anxious about it, it's starting to...
It's finally time. Gold Mazios is
Alright, we're back with another top 5. This time, top 5 layered charge blades. Starting off at number 5 is the Rhompodentratox, or the Rhompompolo charge blade. I think one of the best aesthetic things about charge blade is that you have a sword, you have a shield, and you have an axe. 3 different opportunities to show off the beauty of the monster tied with the weapon. On the axe head and the shield, you can see the Rhompompolo skin stitched together there, but then you have these like spread wings with the metal hat. Where that comes from on the Rhompompolo, I don't know, but I like it. Nestled in the center of the axe head, there's an hourglass with some liquid bouncing around in there. It does look cool nonetheless. And at number 4, we have Chrono Gear, or the Ardian charge blade. In my opinion, this might be the coolest Ardian weapon you can make, because the charge blades are so mechanical and technical in nature. There's a lot of expression here with moving parts. And with the name Chrono Gear, you'd expect to see some gears in it. You do. They move around. They're sparking. When you're in sword and shield mode, there's a little dial on the sword that actually spins like a clock. Yeah, it's still green and it doesn't look the best in color, but again, hey, it does match that Ardian Knight set I put together perfectly. At number 3, we have the Lala Eumenophore, or the Lala Barina charge blade. Just like with its Switch Axe counterpart, the Lala Barina charge blade gives me those Bloodborne vibes of those trick weapons and swinging them back and forth between, well, sword and shield and the axe mode. I love the red coloring on the webbing when it spreads apart in axe mode, and the elegant metal design. For me, this one's just very aesthetically pleasing, and I do tend to use this one quite often when I'm using charge blade. At number 2, we have the Leidenstraff, with the Gormagala charge blade. Edgelord Gormagala cracks my top 5 again, and I'll be honest, I had to include it with charge blade. I just can't get over how nice it looks from an aesthetic standpoint. There's a lot of surface area to really make charge blades look amazing, but I love the asymmetry on the axe, the glowing blade edge, and the jagged opposite side. It's a perfect fit if you're using charge blade and you want to go around repping that dark look. And at number 1, we have the Blazing Urmia, or the Zoshia charge blade. Hands down, my favorite charge blade in the game right now. I love it. You guys know me, I love that clean white look in axe mode when it spreads apart, just like that Zoshia, flinging those wings out. But you stare right into the middle and it looks like you're just looking into an abyss. And that pulsing energy in there. Woo! Oh, it looks so good. Did your favorite charge blade make this list? Let me know in the comments below, and let me know what you want to see next.
What happens when the glittering lights of Las Vegas hide shadows that most tourists never see? Behind the slot machines and neon signs, the city has neighborhoods where crime spikes after dark, streets where visitors are easy targets, and casinos that drain wallets faster than you can blink. For every postcard-perfect photo on the strip, there's a danger zone that locals know to avoid, but tourists stumble into every year. In this countdown, we'll expose the 9 most dangerous areas in Las Vegas you must avoid in 2025. Stick around, because number 1 will shock even longtime Vegas fans. Number 9, Naked City, the illusion of proximity to the Strip. Just steps away from the glitter of the Las Vegas Strip lies a neighborhood with one of the most misleading names in town, Naked City. To the unknowing tourist, it sounds quirky, maybe even exciting. But the reality? This area north of the Stratosphere is notorious among locals as one of the roughest spots in Vegas. Here's the problem. Naked City sits close to the action, making it tempting for budget-conscious travelers to book a motel here. But that bargain can come at a high cost. FBI crime data consistently shows elevated rates of violent crime and drug activity in this district compared to citywide averages. Assaults, robberies, and open-air drug deals are not uncommon, particularly after nightfall. For tourists, walking these streets can feel like stepping into a completely different world from the polished strip just blocks away. Why does Naked City remain a hotspot for trouble? Several reasons converge. The area suffers from economic stagnation, low-income housing, struggling motels, and a transient population. This environment creates opportunities for gangs and dealers to operate with relative ease. Add in the steady stream of unsuspecting tourists spilling over from the Strip, and you've got a dangerous mix. The affordability trap also plays a role. Visitors see hotel rates on the Strip topping $250 a night, and then spot a room in Naked City for under $80. But what they don't factor in are the risks. Lack of security.
He took advantage of an old card that everyone thought was unplayable, but his idea was so powerful that they had no choice but to ban the card. You see, the Ultimate Offering is one of the game's oldest cards, and by paying 500 life points, it allows you to normal summon another monster from your hand, bypassing the one summon per turn restriction. But Mark Garcia realized he could exploit it with the help of the gadgets, monsters that could search for another copy of themselves whenever they were summoned. This meant that one single gadget could swarm the entire field with an army of cogs. And by playing Solidarity, he could boost each of their attacks to well over 2,000. He could also utilize the Machina monsters, with Machina Gearframe searching for the deck's signature boss monster, the Machina Fortress. But after his success, other players quickly latched onto the idea and abused the Offering gadget deck so much that the game's High Council had no choice but to erase their failure by banning it completely. He took advantage of an old card that everyone thought was unplayable, but his idea was so powerful that they had no choice but to ban the card. You see, the Ultimate Offering is one of the game's oldest cards, and by paying 500 life points, it allows you to normal summon another monster from your hand, bypassing the one summon per turn restriction. But Mark Garcia realized he could exploit it with the help of the gadgets, monsters that could search for another copy of themselves whenever they were summoned. This meant that one single gadget could swarm the entire field with an army of cogs. And by playing Solidarity, he could boost each of their attacks to well over 2,000. He could also utilize the Machina monsters, with Machina Gearframe searching for the deck's signature boss monster, the Machina Fortress. But after his success, other players quickly latched onto the idea and abused the Offering gadget deck so much that the game's High Council had no choice but to erase their failure by banning it completely. He took advantage of an old card that everyone thought was unplayable, but his idea was so powerful that they had no choice but to ban the card. You see, the Ultimate Offering is one of the game's oldest cards, and by paying 500 life points, it allows you to normal summon another monster from your hand, bypassing the one summon per turn restriction. But Mark Garcia realized he could exploit it with the help of the gadgets, monsters that could search for another copy of themselves whenever they were summoned. This meant that one single gadget could swarm the entire field with an army of cogs, and by playing Solidarity, he could boost each of their attacks to well over 2,000. He could also utilize the Machina monsters, with Machina Gearframe searching for the deck's signature boss monster, the Machina Fortress. But after his success, other players quickly latched onto the idea and abused the Offering gadget deck so much that the game's High Council had no choice but to erase their failure by banning it completely. He took advantage of an old card that everyone thought was unplayable, but his idea was so powerful that they had no choice but to ban the card. You see, the Ultimate Offering is one of the game's oldest cards, and by paying 500 life points, it allows you to normal summon another monster from your hand, bypassing the one summon per turn restriction. But Mark Garcia realized he could exploit it with the help of the gadgets, monsters that could search for another copy of themselves whenever they were summoned. This meant that one single gadget could swarm the entire field with an army of cogs, and by playing Solidarity, he could boost each of their attacks to well over 2,000. He could also utilize the Machina monsters, with Machina Gearframe searching for the deck's signature boss monster, the Machina Fortress. But after his
And at least
success,
3
other
Moss
players
deals on
quickly
seven.
latched onto
Just
the
wait.
idea and
The
abused
next
the
stop
offering
on the
gadget
list
deck
takes
so
you into a
much that
neighborhood
the
where
game's
violent
high
crime
council
rates
had no
soar
choice
even
but to
higher,
erase their
making
failure
it one
by
of
banning
Vegas's
it
most
completely.
feared
He took
addresses.
advantage of an old card
Number
that
7,
everyone thought
West
was
Las Vegas, where
unplayable,
history
but his
meets
idea was
hardship.
so
If
powerful
there's
that they
one
had
area
no
that locals
choice but to
mention with a
ban the
knowing
card.
look,
You see,
it's
the
West
Ultimate
Las
Offering
Vegas.
is one of the game's oldest
Just
cards,
northwest
and
of
by
the
paying
glittering
500
strip
life
lies a
points, it
neighborhood
allows you to
with
normal
deep
summon
history,
another monster
cultural
from your
pride,
hand,
and
bypassing the one
community
summon per
resilience.
turn restriction.
But
But
also
Mark
some of the
Garcia
city's
realized he could
highest violent
exploit it
crime
with the
rates.
help of the gadgets,
For
monsters that could
tourists,
search for
this
another
part of
copy
town
of
is often
themselves
misunderstood.
whenever they were
While
summoned.
it's
This
far
meant
from
that
a
one
no-go
single
zone for
gadget could
residents,
swarm the entire
wandering
field
in
with an
without local
army of
knowledge can
cogs.
be risky.
And by playing
The
Solidarity,
roots
he
of
could boost
West Las
each of their
Vegas
attacks
run
to
deep.
well over 2,000.
Historically,
He could
this
also
was the
utilize the
center of
Machina
black culture
monsters,
and
with Machina
entertainment
Gear
during
Frame
the
searching for the
segregation
deck's
era,
signature
when
boss monster,
performers
the
like
Machina
Sammy Davis
Fortress.
Jr.
But
and
after
Nat
his
King
success,
Cole
other
would play
players
strip
quickly latched
casinos
onto
with
the
Lawrence
idea
Alaski's
and
stay
abused
band.
the offering gadget deck
That
so
legacy
much
includes the
that the
area of
game's high
cultural
council
richness,
had no
jazz
choice but
clubs,
to erase their
churches,
failure
and
by
family-owned
banning it
businesses that
completely.
have stood
He
for
took
generations.
advantage of an old
With
card
decades
that
of
everyone
underinvestment,
thought was
poverty,
unplayable,
and
but his
systemic
idea was
neglect
so
also
powerful
left
that they had
scars.
no choice but to ban
Today,
the card.
crime
You see,
data
the Ultimate
paints a
Offering is one
sobering
of the
picture.
game's oldest cards,
Metro
and by paying
Police
500
reports
life points,
consistently
it allows
show
you to
West
normal
Las
summon
Vegas
another
with
monster from your
above-average rates
hand,
of
bypassing the
homicides,
one summon per
assaults,
turn
and gang
restriction.
activity.
But Mark Garcia
The
realized
area
he could
around
exploit it
Lakeview
with the help of
Boulevard
the
and Martin
gadgets,
Luther King
monsters that
Jr.
could search
Boulevard
for another
often
copy
cited
of
in news
themselves
stories for
whenever they were
shootings and
summoned.
robberies.
This meant that one single
While
gadget
crime
could
isn't
swarm the
everywhere,
entire
there
field
are
with an
safe,
army of
vibrant
cogs.
pockets.
And by playing
Tourists who
Solidarity,
stray
he
off
could
main
boost
roads
each
at
of their
night
attacks to
quickly
well
find
over
themselves
2,000.
in
He could
unsafe
also utilize the
territory.
Machina monsters,
Economic
with Machina
challenges
Gear Frame
fuel
searching
the
for the deck's
problem.
signature boss monster,
Median
the Machina
household
Fortress.
incomes in this
But after
area
his
are well
success,
below
other
the Las
players
Vegas
quickly
average,
latched onto the
and
idea and
unemployment
abused
remains
the offering
stubborn.
gadget deck so much that the
When
game's high
combined with an
council had
influx
no
of
choice
short-term
but to
rentals
erase
and
their
struggling
failure by
hotels,
banning it
the mix
completely.
creates
He took
opportunities
advantage
for
of an
crime to
old
flourish.
card that everyone thought was
Unlike the strip,
unplayable, but
there's
his idea
little
was so
security
powerful
presence
that
here,
they had no
and
choice but to
visitors
ban the
stand out
card. You
immediately.
see, the Ultimate Offering is one of
What
the
makes
game's
West
oldest
Las
cards,
Vegas
and by
especially
paying
tricky
500
for
life points,
outsiders
it
is
allows you to normal
perception.
summon another monster from your
Tourists
hand,
may
bypassing the
do it
one
by
summon
lower
per
hotel
turn
prices
restriction.
in
But
motels
Mark
just
Garcia
off the
realized he
freeway.
could exploit it with
Or
the help of the
tourists who
gadgets,
explore what
monsters
feels
that could
like
search
the
for
youth
another
Vegas
copy of
outside the
themselves
tourist
whenever
bubble.
they were
But
summoned.
without a
This
clear
meant
sense
that
of where
one
it's
single
safe,
gadget
they
could
risk
swarm
ending
the
up on
entire
blocks where
field
even
with an
locals
army
avoid
of
walking after
cogs.
dark.
And by playing
It's important to
Solidarity,
stress
he could boost
West
each
Las
of their
Vegas
attacks to
isn't
well
just
over
danger.
2,000. He could
It's a
also
community
utilize the
with
Machina
resilience and a
monsters,
proud
with
identity.
Machina Gear Frame searching
But
for
for
the deck's
tourists,
signature boss
this is a
monster,
place
the
to
Machina
respect from a
Fortress.
distance.
But after his
The
success,
long-term
other
here
players
could be
quickly
more than
latched
just
onto the
uncomfortable.
idea and
It could be
abused the
downright
offering
dangerous.
gadget deck so
And
much
if you think
that
West
the
Las
game's
Vegas
high
is rough,
council had
wait
no
until you hear
choice
about
but
the
to
next
erase
area
their
on our
failure
list.
by
A
banning it
neighborhood where
completely.
tourists
He
chasing
took
cheap
advantage
thrills
of an old
find
card
themselves
that
in the
everyone
chaos
thought
they
was
never expected.
unplayable, but his idea was so powerful that they
Number
had no
6,
choice
the
but to
Boulevard
ban
Mall
the
area.
card. You see,
Cheap
the
shopping,
Ultimate Offering is one of the
costly
game's
risks.
oldest cards.
On paper, the Boulevard Mall looks harmless enough. Built in the 1960s, it's one of the oldest malls in Las Vegas, located just a few miles east of the Strip on Maryland
Steak and
Parkway.
eggs may be the best
But in
breakfast of all
2025,
time.
this
For me,
once
it's
bustling
because it's a
shopping mall
delicious,
has become a
indulgent
magnet for
protein
progress.
bomb designed to fuel
And
your
a
day.
growing hotspot
Kind of
for
like
crime
during a
that
war.
tourists
But more on that in a
stumble
bit.
into
For now,
without really
I'm going to
great
amp up this
risks.
meal even more with a
Let's
bonus
start with the
side dish.
numbers.
What's
Metro
better than
Police
steak and
reports show
eggs?
that the area the surrounding
eggs and
Boulevard
potatoes.
Mall
This
has
is
some
the
of the
home fries
highest
recipe
rates
that
of
I
property
learned early
crime
on
and
in my
assaults in the
restaurant
city.
career, and it's going to
Car
set this
break-ins,
off.
shoplifting,
We're going to start by
and even
medium
violent
dicing up
robberies are
1
frequent
yellow
enough
onion.
that local news
Then I have
outlets
about
regularly
3
cover
pounds of
incidents
Yukon
happening in the
potatoes.
parking
You could
lots.
also use russets or even
For
reds.
tourists,
I'm going to
especially
cut
those
them
who drive
into
rental
roughly
cars,
3/4
will carry
inch to
shopping
1
bags
inch
that squeeze
cubes.
out of town.
Once you're done
The
prepping
risk
those,
of
let's
being
head
targeted
over to the
is
cooktop.
real.
I'm going to be using a
The mall
large
itself
non-stick
reflects the
skillet. This is
changing
going to be
economics of
crucial
Las
to
Vegas
ensure
retail.
the potatoes do
As
not
the
stick.
Strip grew into
Let's
a
crank the
world-class
heat up
shopping
to high,
destination with
add in
luxury
enough
brands,
oil to
older
coat the
malls
bottom
like the
of a
Boulevard
pan.
lost their
I prefer to
prestige.
use a neutral flavored
Many
oil like
anchor stores
avocado.
closed, leaving
Then once the
vacancies
oil
filled by
begins to
discount
lightly
outlets and
smoke, let's
smaller
add in the
vendors.
potatoes, followed up
That
with
shift
adding
attracted a
in
more
the onions.
transient customer
We
base,
are going to let
while
these
at the same
sit
time
untouched
reducing the
for
mall's
7 to
ability
8
to afford
minutes.
strong
This
private
timing
security.
is crucial to ensure
surrounding
we get a
neighborhood
beautiful
compounds
brown
the
crust
danger.
on these potatoes.
East of the Strip,
However, we
parts
Progressive
can be a
Maryland
great
Parkway
steward of
and
our
Desert
time
Inn Road
and prep
have
up
long
these
struggled with
things,
poverty,
beginning with
homelessness,
one
and
red bell
open-air
pepper,
drug use.
which we're going to seed and
Tourists
then
who come here
small
looking
dice.
for
And it's
bargain
been a
shopping
long-standing
often
issue
find
with me that
themselves
I
walking
hate
through
green
dimly lit
peppers.
areas
They're
where
dumb. They
loitering
don't
is
have any
common,
flavor.
and
So I'm going
police
to sub that
presence
out
is
for a
limited.
poblano pepper.
What
Again,
feels
seed
like a quick
and
shopping
small
trip
dice.
can easily
Last
turn
but not
into an
least for the
encounter
prep,
with
let's
aggressive
mash up
panhandling.
and finally mince 5 whole garlic cloves.
Even locals
And
are
at this
cautious.
stage, let's go back to our
Many
cooktop
advise
and
against
have a look
visiting
at
the
our
area after
potatoes.
dark,
And what
citing
we're going to do at
incidents of
this stage is
carjackings and
just
assaults
saute
in
them for an
nearby
additional
lawns.
3 to 4
Uber
minutes.
and Lyft
Let's
drivers
add in the
often prefer
peppers,
not to
garlic.
pick up in the sun
Next,
at
I'm going
night,
to add in
which
1
tells you
teaspoon
something
of
about the
regular
reputation.
paprika, smoked or
The
sweet
Boulevard
Elsterwort.
Mall area
Then we're
is
going
a
to
classic
generously season
example
it up
of a
with
Vegas
coarse salt
mirage.
and fresh cracked
From a
black pepper.
distance, it promises
Let's
affordability
mix
and
everything
convenience.
together, get all
Up
those
close,
flavors moving
it
around.
exposes visitors
And
to
we're just
risks
going to
far
saute
greater
these
than
for
the
an
deals
additional
that work.
3 to 4 minutes just
And
to
if you
get
think
a
a shopping
light
mall
brown
can
on
be
those
dangerous,
peppers.
wait
Adjust any
until you hear
seasonings
about the
and then
next spot.
finish it with
A
about
stretch
1
of road
tablespoon
so
of unsalted
infamous
butter.
that even
And of course,
seasoned
let's
cab
try it out.
drivers warn you to stay far, far away. Number 5. Twin Avenue and University
It's ridiculous.
District, where students and strangers
Now these potatoes
collide.
can
If you
absolutely
wander
hang
just a
for an
couple of
additional
miles east
10
of
to
the Strip,
15 minutes,
you'll
so
hit
we're going to
Twain
pop them in
Avenue,
the oven
near
on the
the
middle rack
University of
at
Nevada, Las
250
Vegas,
degrees Fahrenheit.
UNLV.
And we're just about
By
to get
day,
to that steak.
it looks like a
First,
typical
let's
mix of
make
student
this
housing,
sauce that I
apartments,
promised
and
you is going to be
convenience
so good.
stores.
In
But
a
by
small
night,
bowl, I have
Twain
1.5
transforms
tablespoons
into
of
one of the
Worcester
most
sauce.
unpredictable
Next up,
and
I'm going to add a
crime-prone corridors
tablespoon
in Las
of
Vegas,
white distilled
an
vinegar.
area
You could
both
also use
locals
red wine
and
vinegar
police
here.
repeatedly
Then
warn
1.5
tourists to
teaspoons of
avoid.
sugar, 1
The
teaspoon of
problem
crushed
starts
red
with the
pepper
weekly
flakes,
motels.
1 tablespoon
Drive
of
along
your
Twain
favorite
and you'll
hot
notice
sauce.
block after
I'm just going to
block
use
of
Tabasco
extended
here.
stay properties
Then,
with names
last
like
but not
Siegel
least,
Suites
3
or
tablespoons
Budget
of
Inn.
water. Let's
These
mix
motels,
everything together
often poorly
until it's
maintained,
combined.
are
And I like
cheap
to give it
options
a
for
little
transient
taste.
renters,
This one
low-income
has some
families,
zip, but I
and
promise
in many
it will cool
cases,
down with a
individuals
little
struggling
trick
with
at
addiction.
the end when I finish it
According
in
to
the
Metro
pan.
reports,
We're going to set this
they've
to the
also
side and a
become
few more
hotbeds
things
for
for the
drug
sauce. Let's
activity,
mash up and finally
prostitution,
mince
and
6 whole
violent
garlic
crime.
cloves. Then I need
Police
a quarter
sirens are
cup
a
of
nightly
thinly sliced
soundtrack
green
here.
onions.
The mix of
And finally,
demographics
let's
adds
bring out the
volatility.
steak. And
You
let me
have
tell you
college
this,
students looking for
any
cheap
steak will work for
off-campus
this
housing,
recipe.
colliding with
Sirloin, filet,
populations
flank,
battling
ribeye, New
poverty
York
and
strip, flat
homelessness.
iron, you name
This
it.
creates
However,
tension on the
if
streets,
it's a tougher cut like a
particularly
hanger
around
or flank,
convenience
I
stores,
personally
liquor
prefer to
shops, and
slice
gas
it thin
stations
because I'm not
that
really
double
into
as social
over
gathering
chewing at
points.
6:30 a.m. But hey,
Tourists
you do
walking
you.
through,
For me,
whether
I'm going
headed
to
to
opt
Ellis
for the
Island
ribeye.
Casino,
This
a cheap
steak is
restaurant,
about
or simply
20
exploring,
ounces. Anything
stand
more
out
than 1
immediately
pound is
and
perfect
can be
for this
easy
recipe.
targets.
And it's a
What
steak
makes
that can
Twain
just
Avenue
melt
even
in your
more
mouth.
dangerous for
What I want to do
outsiders is
first,
the
though,
tunnel
is
system.
pat it dry very well
Las
on
Vegas
all
has a
sides.
sprawling
Remember,
network of flood
moisture
tunnels
is
beneath
the
city,
enemy of a
where
beautiful
thousands of
sear.
homeless people live.
Next up, what we want to do
Some
is
of the
generously
entrances
season
look
it with
well
coarse
flanked,
salt and fresh
meaning
cracked black
encounters
pepper
with
on all
unpredictable
sides.
individuals
Now,
can happen
another
with
option
little
would be
warning.
seasoning with
In
salt for a
2025,
dry brine if
local
you want
outreach
it.
groups
Now, this
estimate
is
that
really
hundreds
only
still
good if you're
call these
making this for a
tunnels home.
special occasion
And
or
while
if you
many
know the
simply
night
want to
before you want it for
run-down
a perfect
storefronts,
Saturday
visible
morning.
trash, and
This
heavy
will help the
police
steak
presence
create a better
make it
Maillard
clear this
experience
isn't a
and
tourist friendly
retain more
zone.
juices when it's finished
At
cooking.
night,
All
you
you
have
do is
street
pat it
lighting
dry on
only
both
amplifies
sides
the
and then
danger.
generously season it on
For
both sides
visitors
with
tempted by
coarse
low
salt.
motel rates
Then you
or
place it in
hidden
the
gem
refrigerator
eateries
uncovered
nearby.
for as little as
If
4
your
hours
vice
and
is
all the
simple,
way up to
think
48
twice.
hours. Then when you're ready
Twain
to cook
Avenue may
it, pull
be
it out of
just
the
a stone's
refrigerator
throw from
and
the
you'll
Strip,
be able
but
to
the safety
see that
gap
it has
feels
a
like
sort of
miles.
thin film or
And if you
skin,
thought
almost like a
Twain was
membrane
bad,
on the
the next
top.
spot on our
This
list
is
is
known
even
as
more
a
notorious.
pellicle. It's
A
also
stretch of
going
Las
to
Vegas
help
Boulevard
in the
that proves
browning
the city's
Maillard
main road
process.
isn't safe once
Plus,
you leave
it'll
for
be
neon
perfectly
glow
seasoned.
behind.
Then all you need to do at this stage is
Number
just
4.
season it up with
North
pepper.
Las Vegas
It's already
Boulevard,
been seasoned
the
with
Strip's
salt,
dark
and
twin.
then cook it.
Tourists
Alright, one
think
last
of Las
option. If
Vegas
you're using
Boulevard
a
as the
slightly
beating
tougher
heart of
cut,
the
like a
city.
hanger strip
The
or
Strip,
sirloin,
with its
instead of
billion-dollar
pounding it out or
resorts,
even
neon
slicing it in
lights,
half,
and
try using a
24/7
needle
action.
meat tenderizer
But
instead.
head north
There's
past
no
the
reason to
stratosphere,
sacrifice
and
flavor
the
and
mood
juices for a
changes
thin
instantly.
cut steak. What this does
Welcome
is
to
it
North
cuts through
Las
the
Vegas
muscle
Boulevard,
fibers and connective
a stretch
tissues,
notorious for
improving
being
the
one of the city's
tenderness.
most
Then,
crime-ridden
all
and
you do is
desolate
pat it dry,
corridors.
season it
Here's
up,
the unsettling
coarse salt,
truth.
fresh cracked black
This
pepper
area
on both
sits
sides,
between the
and
glitter
you're
of the
good
Strip
to
and
cook
the
it.
Fremont Street
Speaking of
experience.
cooking, I've
But
got my
unlike
seasoned up
either,
ribeye back
it
over to the
lacks
cooktop.
security,
I have a
lighting, and
10-inch
crowds.
cast iron
That
skillet. We're
combination
gonna crank
makes it
the
a
heat up to
magnet for
high,
homeless
and add in
encampments,
enough
drug
neutral
activity,
flavored
and
oil
street
again
crime.
using avocado
Visitors
to
who
coat the
walk or
bottom
drive
of the
this
pan.
stretch after dark
Once it begins to
frequently report
lightly smoke like
harassment,
this,
aggressive
I'm going to grab my
panhandling,
ribeye,
or
mop
worse,
up all the leftover salt and
break-ins
pepper on the
assaults.
plate on that
What
fat
really
cap
catches
side
tourists
and
off
put
guard
it
is the
fat cap
illusion of
side down
continuity.
right in that oil.
They assume Las
I
Vegas
am going to cook
Boulevard
it
is
here
safe
and
from
hold
end
it
to
for
end.
30 seconds
But
to
in
help
reality,
render a little
once
bit
you
more
leave the
fat
neon
and
zones,
brown up
the road
that
becomes
fat
lined
cap.
with rundown
Once it looks
motels,
like this, we're
abandoned
good to flip it
storefronts,
on its
and
side.
aging
We're
wedding
going to let it
chapels.
sit untouched for
Locals joke
exactly
that it's
1
like stepping
minute.
into the strip's
Then
forgotten
let's grab our
twin.
tongs and flip
And
it
in
over. You can see the
2025,
outside
despite
edges are
city
brown, but what
promises
about
of
that middle
redevelopment,
part? Here's a
crime
little
in this
technique
corridor
that I
remains
learned
well
and
above
love.
the national
We are going
average.
to move the steak around in a
Several
circular
landmarks
motion
highlight the risks.
for 90
The Gateway
seconds
Motel
on
is
the dot.
infamous among
And
locals
if it
for
doesn't,
attracting
we got
criminal
one more thing
activity.
we can do.
The area
This
near
looks
Charleston
pretty
Boulevard
dang
and
good.
Bonanza
We're
Road
going
is
to let this sit
particularly
for 1
dangerous
minute.
after dark.
But to
With
turn the
minimal
Maillard
lighting
up
and
and make the
frequent
flavor
police
even better,
responses.
we are
Even
going to turn
ride-share
the
drivers
heat
are
down to
wary.
medium-low
Many decline
and add in
pickups in
3
this corridor
tablespoons
late
of
at night because of
unsalted
safety
butter.
concerns.
And what we're going to do is
The
baste
economic
this for
backdrop makes the
2
danger
to
even
2.5
sharper.
minutes.
North
This
Las
is going
Vegas
to get
has some
all
of the
those
highest
areas on
poverty
the
rates
steak
in the
that
valley,
aren't perfectly
with household
browned up,
incomes
and
far
it's going
below
to
the strip's
flavor it.
glitzy averages.
Now these cooking times will
As a
render
result,
you a
this stretch
perfect
of
medium
boulevard
rare
attracts
internal
both
temperature,
those seeking
which is
cheap
going to be
motels
about
and those
125
preying
F
on
when
vulnerable
it's all
tourists.
finished. Now to
Rental
get
cars
that
parked here are
bioglobin
frequent
running
targets
all
for
the way
theft.
back through edge
For
to edge
visitors,
on
the
my
key
steak,
mistake
I'm
is
just going to
assuming
set it to the side on a rack
proximity
and let it
equals
rest for
Being
5
just
to
minutes
6
away from
minutes.
multi-billion
And for
dollar
all those folks who are
casinos
using a
doesn't mean
thinner
this
cut of
area
steak
shares
like
their
a skirt
security.
in a hot
The further
pan
north
just the
you walk
same
or
way,
drive,
I'm
the
adding
more
it
the
in
risks
and letting it
pile
sit
up.
untouched
And
for
if you
1
think a
minute.
darkened
Then
boulevard
we're
is
going to move it
unsettling,
around in a
the
circle
next entry
for
on our list takes
45
you to a
seconds.
place with a
That is it.
reputation so
Flip it
infamous
over. You
that
can see
locals
it's not
gave it a
perfectly
name that
brown, but
still
don't
sends
worry, we'll
shivers
get to
down
that.
spines.
Right now, we're going to let it sit untouched for 1
Number
minute, then we're
3.
turning the heat down to low
Naked
medium,
City's shadow,
adding in 3
pride at the foot of
tablespoons
the
of
strap.
unsalted butter,
Imagine
and we're
stepping
going to
out of
baste
the
it for an
glittering
additional
Stratosphere Hotel,
1.5
rebranded
minutes.
as the Strat,
Remove that steak,
and within
let it
minutes,
rest for
finding
5 to
yourself
6
in one of
minutes.
Las
Then
Vegas's
whenever it
most
comes to
infamous
slicing these thin
neighborhoods.
steaks, always against the
That's
grain,
the reality
as
of
thin
Naked
as
City,
possible, and I
a
like to do it
district
on a
so
bias because it
notorious.
just looks
It's been
nicer.
the subject
Now
of
for the pan with
documentaries,
all that
local
oil
news
and fat in there,
exposés,
we need to cook
and
the sauce,
endless
but
police
first we need to
reports.
fry up some eggs. And there
The
is
name
just
has an
way
odd
too much
origin.
oil in this pan,
Back in the
plus
mid-20th
it's
century,
extremely hot.
showgirls who
So I'm
lived
just
in
going
this
to
area would
discard
sunbathe
most of
nude
it.
by their
Then I'm going
apartment
to return it
pools.
to the cooktop and cool it
But
down for
today,
just
those
1
pools
to
are
2
gone.
minutes.
The buildings are
Then,
decaying.
over low to
And
medium
Naked
heat, I'm
City is
adding
known
in
less
2
for glamour
tablespoons of
and more for
unsalted
gang
butter.
activity,
Once
open-air
melted,
drug
I'm
use,
going to start
and
cracking
violent
in
crime.
my large eggs. You
Police
can add as
activity
many
here is
eggs
constant.
as you want here.
The
I'm going
7-Eleven
to do
across
4
from the
because
Strat
this
has
is
bulletproof
easily going
glass
to
for
feed
cashiers
2 to
and
3
is regularly the site
and
of
if you add in
robberies
the
and drug
potatoes, you
arrests.
could easily feed 4.
Even
Now
locals
my
admit
goal
that
here
while
is
the
to
area
fry
has
these
improved
just
slightly
on one
since the
side, which is
1990s,
going to take in
it
between
remains a
2
place
or
where
3
shootings,
minutes. And at
assaults,
this
and
stage,
drug
you might be
deals
asking,
happen
why
at a
is there
rate
so
far
much
higher
protein
than
in
the
this
city
dish?
average.
It was actually
The neighborhood's
created in
proximity to the
Australia in
Strip
the
creates
early
a dangerous
19th
trap for
century.
tourists.
However, it really didn't become
Out-of-towners walk
popularized
north past
until
the
World
Strat,
War II,
assuming the
when the
boulevard
United States
remains safe,
Marine Corps
only to veer a
discovered
block
this
west into Naked
Australian
City.
gem. And as nature
Suddenly,
would
they're in
have it,
dimly
the
lit
men
alleys littered
fell
with
in love
trash,
with it, and
rundown
then after the
motels,
war, it
and
of course
clusters of
came back
homeless
to America,
encampments.
and it's been on menus
To
ever
residents here,
since.
it's just
Okay,
daily life.
let's finish up those eggs.
To tourists,
Once the
it's
edges
disorienting
become nice
and
and crispy
potentially
like this,
life-threatening.
that's what we're looking for.
Ironically,
Gently
Naked
season
City
with
isn't
coarse salt
entirely bleak.
and just set them to the
Community
side fried
centers,
plate.
murals,
And
food
then, of
trucks
course,
have
that
popped
sauce,
up in
do
recent
not miss
years,
this.
a
Over low
testament
to
to
medium
local
heat.
resilience.
Let's add in the 6
But
finely
these bright
minced garlic
spots
cloves.
don't erase the
Give it a
risks.
stir and cook it just
For
until
outsiders, unfamiliar with the neighborhood's reputation, the danger lies in wandering into the wrong block at the wrong time, especially after dark. Real estate investors often tout Naked City as the next redevelopment opportunity because of its location next to the Strip. But as of 2025, gentrification hasn't erased its reputation. For now, it remains one of the most dangerous pockets in Las Vegas, where the line between tourist glitz and urban grit is razor thin. And if Naked City feels unsettling, just wait, because our next spot isn't just a neighborhood, it's an entire district where the city's most pressing social problems collide, making it a place even seasoned locals avoid at night. Number 2, downtown's back streets, beyond Fremont's neon glow. Every tourist hears about the Fremont Street experience, a canopy of neon, live music, zip lines, and constant surveillance. It's marketed as vintage Vegas at its safest and most entertaining. But what most visitors don't realize is that just a few blocks beyond the glow, downtown Las Vegas changes drastically. The numbers tell a grim story. According to local crime maps, violent crime in the areas surrounding Fremont Street is 98% higher than the national average. Police presence is heavy under the canopy itself, but once you drift east past Container Park or north toward Bonanza Road, the scene darkens. Abandoned buildings, flickering streetlights, and clusters of homeless encampments dominate the landscape. Suddenly, the atmosphere feels less like a tourist attraction and more like a cautionary tale. Why does this happen? It's the proximity trap. Tourists assume downtown is compact and safe to explore on foot, but just a short walk in the wrong direction can land you in neighborhoods riddled with drug activity, prostitution, and assaults. Unlike the Strip, where resorts pour millions into private security, these side streets rely on thinly stretched metro patrols. The economic divide is another factor. Downtown has been targeted for redevelopment projects, with shiny new hotels and cocktail bars on East Fremont. But the revitalization fades block by block, leaving behind struggling motels and weekly rentals. These create conditions ripe for crime, while sitting uncomfortably close to where tourists spend billions each year. Property crime is rampant, too. Rental cars just outside the Fremont canopy are frequent targets for break-ins. Locals warn that anything visible, luggage, shopping bags, even loose change, can disappear in minutes. It's not all bad news. East Fremont has some fantastic restaurants, and new businesses are trying to breathe life into the district. But for tourists, the rule is simple. Enjoy Fremont Street, but don't wander past the lights. In 2025, the risks beyond the canopy are too high to ignore. And if you thought downtown's back streets were rough, wait until you see our number one pick, a place so dangerous, so unpredictable, that even longtime locals say it's where Las Vegas truly reveals its darkest side. Number 1. The tunnels beneath Las Vegas, a hidden city of shadows. Beneath the glitz of Las Vegas lies a world that most tourists don't even know exists. A vast network of flood control tunnels stretching over 600 miles. These tunnels were built to protect the city from flash floods, but over the years, they've become home to an underground community of thousands. For outsiders, they represent the single most dangerous place in Las Vegas. Step into these tunnels, and you're entering a parallel city. Dark, dank, and unpredictable. Makeshift beds, graffiti-covered walls, and piles of belongings line the concrete passages.
Man, what to eat, dude? I'm starving.
isn't ready yet. Range. Too far. I need to target something. Can't pass this yet. Charging. Can't pass that yet. Not ready yet. That ability isn't ready yet. a target. Purity isn't ready yet. Ready yet. That spell isn't ready yet. Can't cast that yet. Charging. Can't cast that yet. That spell isn't ready yet. I can't do that yet.
Shut up, you nigga.
It's too far away. I need to get closer. Ability isn't ready yet. It's still recharging. I can't cast that.
Shut up, you gay nigga.
Let's
dares disturb my meditation?
Too far away. That spell. Ready yet? I need to get closer. Need the target.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another Spooky AF production. I'm missing here like 60 years ago. Let's see. Creepy and I'm gonna be honest. I was forgot about this.
It's too far away. Still recharging. Past that yet.
It's in you by the ghost. You need to keep it across.
My mana is low. Still recharging. I need more mana.